Yeah, there you go. You got it.
Awesome.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the Uncultured podcast. I am your host, Jonathan Glutton, and to my right, I have my lovely co-host,
Marcos Carranza, Sucio Boys in the Cut. You already know what I'm saying. My name's Abby Perry, and welcome to
You
the
stole my bit.
welcome to the real deal. Yeah.
and our lovely guest, our good friend.
Hi, I'm Abby Perry, and tonight for our BSU Tonight meeting, we're going to be discussing
Our good friend Jacob Berry.
Hi, I'm Jacob. Yeah, nice to meet everybody.
Anyway,
glad to be
Sucio
on
Boys
the
in the
show.
Cut.
Hey, glad to have you. Why? Why with the Sucio Boys? The top of that?
We're
Is that
Sucio Boys in the Cut.
Okay,
John, you're Sucio.
that's a.
You are Sucio.
I
A
took
little.
a shower today.
A little.
I took a shower today.
A little.
Is it because of the melanin?
No.
Okay,
Oh.
because I was a little concerned.
No.
All right, is this going to be our first uncultured conversation that we have?
I feel like every episode has to start with something mildly uncultured, right, Cheyenne? Not even paying attention.
She's
Fantastic.
Just spinning in the
Yeah.
chair. And now it's on camera.
We upgraded the setup. We got money now.
Well, I don't know about that. I don't know about
What?
that. The setup absolutely, definitely got upgrades since the first episode of the podcast. But having money, bold assumption.
Yeah. John, you're looking a little
Underdressed.
Yeah,
little
I have to
underdressed
say,
today,
everybody else is looking rather dapper.
Oh,
looking
fuck!
good.
Literally
Yeah,
everyone
Cheyenne
else.
looking good.
Fantastic.
Cheyenne looking
Marcos
good.
looks
What the
great,
fuck are you
and
doing?
I
Cheyenne,
look.
could you bring? No,
presentable.
I was gonna say bring my hoodie because it actually looks kind of nice.
Yeah, John, we were
But it's
talking about it earlier.
very
You
fucking
definitely
warm.
should wear a sweater.
It looks. It's
Yeah.
very warm.
It's
here,
bet.
though.
It's bet.
It's not
Yeah.
that warm in here.
Yes,
I'm
bring
very
it.
warm.
You
Oh,
honestly.
she's bringing me the hoodie. Okay.
Yeah,
You asked her to.
I asked her to.
Yeah.
I already have control.
Yeah.
Yes.
Thanks,
Yes.
Cheyenne.
Yes.
Fantastic.
Yes.
Thank you so much.
And now we get to listen to the ASMR of John putting on his hoodie. Everyone be quiet.
Hi, my name's Max Tresney. Can I get quiet on set?
God damn it. God
It
damn
was
it.
going so well too.
I'm uncultured.
Roll
Okay.
credits.
Roll credits. Okay. Yeah, so welcome, Jacob, to your first episode of the Uncultured podcast. Here on Uncultured, we talk about literally anything and everything under the sun. So just
Fantastic.
to start us off, is there anything that you wanted to bring up or talk about
Okay.
on today's episode? of the podcast?
Something I've been holding in my chest, and something that I don't know if I actually discussed this with you before coming on here or not, but I have to flex it immediately as soon as possible.
okay.
I'm Canadian, and and so I say things funny, right? I say sorry. I say
You really
we'll meet
say
up
that.
tomorrow, and I need to borrow something, and so whenever I hear somebody also say something like sorry, tomorrow, borrow, anything of the sort, I don't say a boot. I say about, which I mean is still a little weird, but anyway.
Where do people in Canada say boo? Quebec.
And
Shirt
stereotypes
tuckers.
only.
Quebec?
Shirt tuckers.
What does that mean?
Quebec?
Americans
Quebec?
would refer to them as hicks. Shirt
Mm,
tuckers.
Very cool. Very
Quebec.
cool. So
Oh, I don't know what you're talking
Quebec.
about. Yeah, the hicks.
Quebec?
No,
no.
Thank you.
Mark.
Thank
No.
you for finally listening to me.
no.
Well,
It's
you weren't
pronounced
listening
Quebec,
to Jacob.
right?
You weren't
What?
listening to
How's Quebec? Quebec? Quebec?
As long as you don't pronounce it Quebec, you're
Quebec?
fine.
So don't pronounce it Quebec.
No, because that's just wrong. It's Newfoundland. It's Quebec. It's not Quebec. I just slipped up. God damn it. It's Quebec and it's Newfoundland. And whoever's taught Americans
Newfoundland.
that it's Newfoundland and Quebec, I need to be taken out back and dealt with Old Yeller style.
Well, that
Like-
would be Americans, and I don't
Oh my
necessarily
God.
disagree with you. So
I just
Oh, yeah.
Cheyenne's on the other side of the glass going, well, you're not wrong.
Anyway, so my point in bringing
Jesus
this up,
Christ.
other than to flex my Canadian citizenship, is recently Marcos and I were on a film shoot for it, and here's my shameless plug for a group that we're involved with called BSU Tonight. And one of our dear friends, are we allowed to name drop people?
Mm.
You know what?
It's
We're
not
Susio boys.
bad.
Yeah.
It's just something I learned about
You know
them that
what?
I just didn't know.
Do it.
So we have our dear
You
friend
name drop.
Chloe Fella. Love you, Chloe. And
will probably be a future guest on the podcast.
yeah, honestly, she's fantastic. And we're at the shoot, and I don't even know what happened. I think she needed to slip through Marcos and I, and she was like, "Oh, excuse me, sorry," and
You're kidding
immediately I was stunned.
me. You're kidding me.
I
That did
know.
not
No, it
happen.
happened.
Yeah, it did.
It happened.
Marcos was right there.
I was
He
there.
literally just looked at me, really confused. Did that just happen?
Is Chloe secretly Canadian?
So
Which brings up the point: is she the best double agent?
yeah.
If she's secretly
She-
Canadian, she's absolutely the best double agent.
There's no way.
Because
There's no
okay,
way.
For context, the reason that's as baffling to me as it is when at one point, I think it was on our way back from the Friendsgiving party we went to last year.
Mhm.
We were walking back from that, and I just asked her, because I have this question that I like to ask all of my friends when I have been with them and around them and have gotten to know them for a while. And that question is, when you first met me, did you think I was gay?
Yes.
Because every one of my close friends thinks that or I was Mexican.
Yeah.
What?
Yeah, no.
To be fair,
okay, to be fair, when I
Jacob's
first
the
met
prime
John,
example.
the first words out of her mouth. Whoa. I'm sorry. PGPs are important.
Jesus.
The first words out of his mouth were in Spanish, and I was like, oh, okay.
Right,
I
and
guess
apparently
he's
my
just-
Spanish accent is kind of okay.
Speak Spanish right now.
¿De qué estás hablando? No puedo hablar en castellano, güey.
And so I was
I
just
can't
like,
speak
I was
Spanish
like,
very
I mean, okay.
Okay.
It's okay, but that's
I d-
apparently enough for most of my friends when they first meet me to think that I am either Mexican or gay. And that's just because I have a very
Well, John.
You are.
flamboyant personality.
You
That's
are.
fine. But my point with that tangent was when I asked Chloe that question, she said no, but I'll be honest, I did think you were British for a while. And I'm 100% serious that was her reaction. And that's a whole conversation we can get into later, but the reason that
That's
this
kinda
development is as baffling to me as it is the fact that having a foreign nationality or background or of some semblance sort of kind came up at one point.
Mm-hmm.
And at no point, if she's secretly Canadian, did she tell me or even hint at the fact that she was secretly Canadian.
What if she's secretly ashamed?
Of being Canadian?
I mean, there's some days where I am.
Okay, how can that be worse than being American, though? Particularly, I am not gonna get super political on the podcast and would like
Fuck
to avoid
Donald Trump.
and would like to avoid
Fuck
at any
Donald
given
Trump.
at any point in all
Yeah,
seriousness
fuck
getting
Donald Trump.
super political on the podcast.
I'll do
But
it.
regardless of what way you look at it, it's not been a great last 4 years, particularly this year with COVID, and that's
What are you
not
talking about?
necessarily his fault one way or the other. But
Trump saved the economy.
Marcos.
He held on to the economy and maintained the economy, all right? Let's not give him too much credit.
I just remember that I'm sitting in literally the arguments for either side of the camp, dressed accordingly, might
Me?
I add.
I don't like Trump, but I'm like a moderate.
Right. Where Jacob is not.
I
He
don't
doesn't
like
like Trump
Trump,
either.
but I'm
I
a
never said
Republican.
either of you did, but right.
God, do I love John McCain. God rest his soul.
Anyway.
God bless his
Anyway.
soul.
John
McCain was a good guy.
But no, that
What
the
an
fact that
outstanding man.
never came up baffles my mind. There's no
What?
way.
That
There's
you were
no.
No, that she's Canadian.
That she's
Oh.
Canadian.
Now I have to know.
We're speculating. I might call her. My phone's being used for the camera.
Does
but
Use my phone.
She'll be really confused. And
She will be
definitely
really
pick up.
confused. She'll be terrified.
I don't know that she would pick up. She
I
might,
just
but I'm
meant
not
I just
sure.
meant call her on Snapchat.
But would she pick up?
She'd be really confused. If the last person I could possibly imagine calls me,
I feel like
I
you're the
answer right
last
away.
person.
Yeah, me too.
I answer right away because I'm like, what
Why?
could they possibly be
Right.
calling me about? Not texting me, calling me. What this?
Right.
They must be dying, and I was just the
I
first person that
almost
came
want to
up.
wait. Not to interrupt. Sorry.
No, you're
Finish
good.
your point because we'll come back to my point.
My next point was they must be dying or in some horrible legal trouble, and they're calling me for some reason. Anyway,
That's fair. I almost as much as I really fucking want to know the answer to that question like immediately. I almost want to wait and just have her on like the next episode, the episode after, and be like, "Listen, as a follow up,
are you Canadian?
We found you out.
We have some new
damning evidence. Damning evidence
that's entered the case, and we would like to charge you formally with the crime of being Canadian.
Is that a crime?
Not any more than being American is. I would argue a lot less than being American is.
I would argue a lot more than being American.
I would argue, yeah.
There's a long history of being proud to be an American.
That's true.
There's not a history at all of being proud to be Canadian.
I am too. I am very proud to be an American. I feel like a lot of people in this country are also very proud to be an American.
Some people, to a problematic extent,
I was going to say, to a problematic extent, in some cases, and for very different reasons than some of us.
Right.
Therein is the rub for me. Again, not to get...
Right.
Well, we're already here, John. So
we're already
but
here.
I would like to not stay if at all possible.
Well,
this is
Jacob Barring's
being
on the
political
podcast,
that was part of my issue coming onto the podcast. Getting political on this podcast, despite its name, is like staying for me at a really, really expensive hotel by accident. In that,
let him finish.
It's not. I'm not the one being charged, which is great and all until you sit and think about it, because the ramifications of essentially theft of a very fucking expensive hotel room for a night, or if not, God forbid, longer, is the payout for that is going to be a lot worse than what it would have been to just pay for the hotel. You know what I mean? You're surrounded by the kind of environment and kind of people, if you go down that rabbit hole, that will lead to nothing but like pain and suffering and uncomfortable conversations with the weirdest fucking people. You know what I mean?
I'm not getting the metaphor,
John.
John.
Yeah,
really
you
not.
actually
Cheyenne,
you vaguely had me at the beginning,
okay.
and you lost.
Yeah,
me.
I was
you
like, okay,
lost.
expensive hotel room, sure. What?
Expensive hotel room. It's gonna be on somebody's
What are we even
docket.
talking
It's a
about
little
anymore?
weird.
Are we
You don't
talking
know
about being
how
proud
you
to
got
be
there.
American?
You're okay that
being
you got
political
there,
on
but
the
after a
podcast.
certain amount of time, you feel uncomfy. I was there, and then you just I'm sorry to put it so bluntly, but then you just started talking. You said words.
Yeah, I am.
I love you,
So
Chloe,
is
but
being
take
political
shit.
on this podcast uncomfy?
It's not uncomfy for me or for anyone in this room, I think, but for anyone
Listening
around
at
us in the shitty metaphor that I was making, in the adjacent rooms or whatever, we don't belong there. You know what I mean? That discussion would make people
Anytime I walk into a room full of white people, I know I don't belong there. John.
My case in point, exactly. Also, it's very warm, and I really want to take this hoodie off.
Oh,
It's
God.
very
John, take the hoodie off. Now we get an ASMR moment of John taking the hoodie off.
Possibly. This will be quite lovely for the audio-only portion of the podcast. I'm just saying.
Really awkward for the video portion.
A little bit, but that's okay. Excellent.
I would have cried if you threw it at your phone.
That would have been really funny.
You just do it,
That'd been really funny.
your phone just eats shit and
Oh
dies.
my god. That was a really fun and weird ass first 10 minutes.
I want to keep going.
I'm so
absolutely.
I am so
Okay, so
I feel like I meant to ask, by the way, because I feel like I cut you off before
you're good.
that story concluded with finding out that Chloe might be secretly Canadian.
No, but she did it again. She did it again.
She
did
see,
it
this
twice.
is why I brought this back.
Because she
was
did
a
it
second-
twice. There was a second time. And I was like, no. Because I was just like, is she making fun of me? Is like, I'm trying to, because that happens every once in a while. Every once in a while, someone will go, oh, so sorry, Jacob. Oh, I'll see you tomorrow.
I feel
No,
like if
Dad,
anyone that
it's
would
just
do
my
that, though, like, that's
boo.
not the way that Chloe would go about that.
I just-
don't know.
I don't,
Okay,
because
dude,
like sometimes,
maybe it's a
okay.
vague threat.
So sorry. Like, excuse
Oh
me.
my god.
Like,
I
just
get
like,
into the implications of that in
It's
a
like
second.
a thanks, sweetie, heart emoji. You know what I'm saying?
thanks, love,
Yeah.
heart emoji.
On a Facebook argument.
Or no love, heart emoji. Like,
Oh my god.
Sorry, sis, heart
Oh.
emoji.
Okay, so
Sunflower emoji.
here's some questions surrounding that a little bit.
Okay.
Was the character that she was on set for, or was she on set in any capacity that would require or demand that of her in any
No.
Being
capacity?
Canadian? No.
No.
Okay.
No.
Was the character that she was on set for, the capacity in which she was on set, would that have been something that reminded her of something Canadian or brought something Canadian to her?
Other than maybe the electronic campfire that we had in the apartment, no. No.
Was there anyone else aside
Also,
from you or anything on set that would have
Triggered her? No.
to be Canadian?
Nothing that I can think of off the top of my head, Marcos. Maybe
I mean,
you can.
Just you.
It's just
That's
me.
the only Canadian thing I could possibly think about.
There weren't any meese on set. There weren't any
What?
maple leaf meese.
What the hell is that?
The plural of moose.
Oh. Wait, really?
No.
Alright, cool.
Yes, I got him.
Wait, I was like, I thought the plural of moose was moose.
No, it's meese.
You're full of shit.
You just fell for the Canadian equivalent of updog. I just want you to know that.
Yeah.
What's up, dog?
I don't know,
Fuck
dude.
you,
What is
dog.
up, dog?
You think I didn't know up, dog? You think I'm dumb? I just like falling into traps. Like the U.S. healthcare system.
Jesus. Oh my God.
Not any more of a trap than the Canadian healthcare system is. I'll say that much.
Well-
Okay. The only difference therein, because we've had this conversation before, and it
3
aggravates me.
weeks to get diagnosed with
Right.
tinnitus.
As
That
someone
was
who had to
exciting.
get COVID tested through my university, and still I went to
Wow.
the secondary
I
place
still
to
don't
get.
know why you did that.
I think it's crazy. John
Listen,
went
I was
through the
told-
public healthcare system and it fucked him. And
A
then
concept, baffling, right?
when he went through a private source, he
It
got
took
it
3
within
days.
3 days.
It
Crazy.
took 3 days. Okay.
It's almost
I went-
when things are dealt with a obscene amount of bureaucracy, everything becomes the BMV,
You're not incorrect.
What's the
Every-
BMV?
the Bureau of Motor Vehicles. Actually,
The
is it the
DMV?
Bureau of Motor Vehicles or the Department of Motor Vehicles that handles
In
it?
Illinois, it is the Department of Motor Vehicles.
I knew where the building in my hometown was. Shine, do you know?
Is it a B
You
or a
have
D?
Google. Is it the BMV or the DMV
In the state of
Twist.
Indiana, is it a B? B. Wow, that's wild.
That's insane.
Okay.
Anyway,
That's wild.
That's silly.
Where the fuck was I going with that? Right.
not a clue.
I went and got tested on a Thursday morning at 9 o'clock in the morning.
Yeah.
A week later, I still hadn't gotten my results back when they had told me it would take between 2 and 3 business days.
Right.
It might have been 2 and 5 business days.
I think it was 5, but
It might have
continue.
been.
Still, a week.
Either
That's
way,
not
it
the
had
window.
been an entire week since, and I went back to that same place that I had gotten tested
Mhm.
and asked, hey, where do you know where my tests are at? Because I would like to be cleared. It's been halfway through the allotted time for quarantine, and
Right.
if I could get out early, that would be great. Because I have shit to do.
Here comes the sun, dude.
It's not that song. Hi, honey. I'm in the middle of a thing right now. Can I call you back in like an hour?
An hour?
Of
Damn.
course.
You think it'll only be an hour?
You think it'll only
Okay.
take an hour? That's
Okay,
wild.
it might be more. They're saying it might be more.
Hi, Sophie.
Okay. I love
I
you.
simping.
All right.
Just kidding, I'm simping too.
Okay, bye-bye.
Very cool. Very cool.
Here comes the sun.
Anyway.
Do-do-do-do.
Jeez. She's gonna be like, what the fuck was that about later? Anyway, so I went back to the place that I got tested initially and asked them if they had any idea if there was anything like I needed to do still that I hadn't done, or if they had my results, or if they were just delayed or something, or whatever it was. And they told me, we just do the testing. We don't handle the results.
Mhm.
Here's a number that we can give you to call and ask about your results. So I grabbed the paper. I said, thank you very kindly. I walked out and I called the number.
I would have screamed.
I called the number, went to voicemail, called the number back again
Do
immediately.
you code switch when you talk to like
Yes.
doctors? Okay, I do too.
That's a whole separate thing that we can get into
Code switch?
later. Yes.
Yeah.
Jesus, do we want to? Anyway,
Yeah.
I called them back a second time. Someone picked up the phone and directed me through about 15 minutes of off and on hold again. That AT&T bullshit.
Your call is very important to us.
Jesus Christ. I have a whole separate story that I wasn't going to talk about on the podcast, but I'm absolutely going to talk about on the podcast because it pissed me off. Getting that fucking phone.
Please don't.
I'm going to.
Please don't do it today. I'm tired, John.
I'm tired.
You're going to be here for at least another hour, maybe
That's
hour
funny.
10. At least. We have time.
Yikers.
It do be a yikers. After all of the waiting and holding and bullshit, at this point it had been probably, I don't know, somewhere between half an hour and 45, maybe 50 minutes that I had been at this place trying to figure out where my results were at. Finally got off of hold with the people that I had been on hold with. Only to be told that the number that I had been given to call did not have the results. And that I needed to call the Indiana State Health Department to find out what my fucking results were.
Elevator music.
Eat my dick. Is that copyrighted?
Actually, now that I think about it, I don't know. I should stop right now.
Cheyenne, can you Google and tell me if that's copyrighted, if we need to cut that?
Xfinity hold tone.
Just Google Xfinity hold tone and find out if that's
I was like, they put John on hold.
I seriously doubt it, but
doubt
God,
who cares?
Because it sounds pretty similar to T-Mobile's, but not.
Did you just
quite
call
the same.
Xfinity just now?
No, I
That
still
would
have the
be
hold
funny
tone.
as hell.
From when we were prepping for Xfinity fucked us. I
Oh,
recorded the
that's
hold
really
tone.
funny.
Very cool.
Yeah, I recorded like a minute and a half of audio.
When
for
you
that.
record, they're recorded.
That would come in very useful.
Yeah,
Well,
I
that's
I need
actually
you to send
really
that to me.
Of course.
Box or something. Anyway, they pick up the phone and
So
tell me they
anyway,
have to
okay,
call.
go ahead, John. Jesus.
Can I?
Yeah.
Am
No,
I
no,
allowed to
just
tell
Yes,
stories?
yes.
Just-
please
no,
tell me
just-
your story.
Okay.
yeah.
Finally got in touch with the Indiana Health Department after I had called them twice and left voicemails both times. Got a call back another half an hour later. And they told me, after she spent 5 minutes looking me up in their system, that my tests were still in transit and that the RN in charge of actually running the tests on the samples that they had gotten from swabbing my brain hadn't been done yet. And to call back sometime between tomorrow and the following Wednesday. So I left.
What day was it?
This was Thursday afternoon.
Thursday afternoon.
A week
so
after I had
call
initially gotten texted.
somewhere
Or
between
called,
tomorrow and the following Wednesday.
Right.
So like,
sometime between Friday
2 weeks,
and the following
basically.
Wednesday. Right.
Mhm.
So I said, okay. I called back the next day, that Friday, that morning. Got told the same thing. And then promptly texted you or Zoe and asked where the fuck you guys went and got tested. And then you guys picked me up that afternoon.
Yeah.
And I went and got tested
Yeah.
and got my results back the following Tuesday. 2 days before my 2 weeks for quarantine would have been up in the first place.
Sure.
The fucking healthcare system decided not only...
So
just for
to
the
fuck
record,
me.
John, what your tests come back at?
Oh, they
You
were
don't
fucking
need-
negative.
Oh, okay.
I had
I was
literally been fine the whole damn time.
So-
Yeah, I was
just-
like, not to bring up a whole massive HIPAA violation, but just out of curiosity.
No,
so
you're
that people
absolutely.
can know
I
what
had
you're doing.
absolutely tested negative.
well, he said it voluntarily.
Well, you know.
Right. It was.
I had a question and it just left my brain. Give me 2 seconds. Oh yeah. Did you ever get your initial results back?
No, I still to this. That was well over a month ago, and I still haven't gotten my results back from the campus.
It was
test.
mid-October.
It was mid-October.
Bad.
You know, this is we're about 25 minutes in. This is the part of the podcast where you know some of the audience starts to get like a little antsy. You know, we've been enjoying ourselves, laughing, having a good time, and I really feel like
Are
this
you about
is
to
the
do a
time
fucking ad read?
where I feel like we could just take the edge off the audience a little
What
bit
are
by
you-
reading some poems, and so I'm gonna plug my
Okay.
my poetry book
All right,
called
Bo
Egghead.
Burnham. No,
Um,
Bo, shut. No, God, fuck you.
John was getting tested
I
mid-October.
Christ.
Leaves spilled like colored pencil shavings. The streets dicing our town into neat yet unfair portions. And me eating that pussy, baby. Anyway,
I feel like
so
that's copyrighted as well because that's in a
there's
book
no
somewhere.
way. There's no way.
It's
There's-
in a published
Okay,
book.
here's the thing. Yes, it probably is, but also Bo doesn't give a shit. There's no way he cares.
When I lose this podcast because Bo Burnham
I'll
sues
pay.
me for copyright
I'll pay for
infringement, I don't believe you.
Why do you not believe me?
Do you have any idea how much Bo Burnham might sue us for copyright infringement?
If
would
we
bet
settle,
damn
not a
well
lot.
more than.
If we settle, not a lot.
You think you could settle with Bo Burnham on copyright infringement
Yes.
for something that you could feasibly pay
You can
for?
settle with almost anyone for almost anything.
You can settle with anyone for anything.
something that you could afford is my question or my point there.
Yeah.
I don't know, man. I'm pretty fucking poor. I couldn't afford shit.
I mean, I'm not very wealthy myself, but I really feel like Bo. Okay, maybe we're gonna get in. Are we about to get into law? Are we about to get into law?
Please, God.
Christ, no. I fucking took law. Today's Tuesday. I thought it was this morning, and it wasn't.
What are your favorite stereotypes?
Oh God, I don't.
This is my topic. So
Okay, well, to get into your topic for tonight's episode, I don't know. I have to think about that.
Honestly, stereotypes which involve me, I think Canadian stereotypes are hilarious.
Mm-hmm.
But they're all false.
They are.
Stupid.
They
Say
are.
that,
Like Canadians are polite.
Nah, maybe not, but
I
that's
just-
also a stereotype for Americans. And I've met some lovely, absolutely charming Americans, and some also pretty not lovely and charming Americans.
I mean,
So,
John, you just look in the mirror and you get a lovely, charming American.
I'm gonna kick your ass on this podcast.
What a beautiful man.
I ranted about
Incredible.
someone earlier today for the better 3/4 of an hour, and I was
That's
very
a while.
unkind throughout the entire part. Was I not? It was a time.
Are you able to describe this event in vague detail enough to the point where you do not reveal the identity of said
Or
person?
do.
Not even remotely. But that might be something we touch on later if I'm feeling
Frisky.
Feeling frisky.
Feeling frisky.
tenacious.
Tenacious.
Oh, tenacious.
Go
God,
ahead.
speaking of tenacious, and I'm going to completely derail your topic,
Go
Marcos.
ahead.
Tenacious D front lead man Jack Black doing the WAP dance
not-
was
It's
incredible.
not funny.
It's
I
fucking
thought
hilarious.
No,
You
it's
have the
so
best take
it's
right
so
now.
you want to talk about charming Americans. Jack, I don't know his middle name, Black. My God.
That
What
is
a
fair.
what a man. What an absolute unit. Certified big boy
Have
Jack
you seen
Black.
him play the saxophone?
Yes.
It's
he's good.
fucking
He's such an
amazing.
incredible human being.
He really is.
I think Jack Black is really talented and really funny, but that video is just like, man.
I think it's because your mother sent it to you.
It is partially.
What? Hold the fuck up. What? Why did your mom send that to
She
you?
sent it in our family group chat. She thought it was really funny.
The Facebook moms got a hold of it, and Marcos is like, "Ew, mom, you're such a normie." And so,
That
I love my mom, but she's kind of a boomer.
you heard it here first, folks.
Sorry, mom. I doubt you'll listen to this, but sorry.
Oh,
To Marcos'
God.
I
mother,
love you.
when Marcos becomes successful and semi-famous,
Jesus.
she's gonna reminisce at all of the small things that she knows that he's done, and she's gonna look upon this and be extremely disappointed in her son for one of the first times in her life. Genuinely disappointed.
Oh, she's.
One of, not the first, but one of.
Okay, so speaking of times my mom was disappointed in me. This is really funny, kind of anecdotal. So, I had to be 18 or 19. Like, it was not that long ago.
Right.
And I was like, hey, Mom, you want to see something cool?
Oh, God.
And then I proceeded to stuff my mouth with grapes. And no, that's not what it is. She was disappointed then, too, though. I stuffed my mouth with grapes.
The look on
And she just like
Shannon's
shook her head
face.
and looked back at her phone, going on Facebook or whatever.
Oh
But
my God.
what she was actually disappointed in me was, do you guys remember that Vine where it's like the Kit Kat commercial, but it's the kid like humping the air?
No.
It's like the crunch. It's like.
Oh, the like when they just like
Yeah.
have a bunch of.
I showed her that, and she goes, "Sometimes I am just so disappointed in you, my son." And I rolled laughing. Anyway, that's fun.
Wow.
Love you, Mom.
Wow. Jesus. I don't know how to respond to that.
I
Outside of to just fuck, dude. My favorite stereotype. Not to
Let's go back
Jesus.
to the original question.
My favorite
well, the
stereotype.
original question is
Well-
Jacob's Cane. Wow.
What?
Jacob's Cane's. Jacob is Cane's chicken.
Raising Cane's.
Raising McCain.
What?
Good song. Hold on. We're getting back into politics.
Politics aside, talk about the song.
No, it's important. What the hell happened to the political songs? Raising McCain is the last good one. And frankly, I don't think that there have been anymore.
Ike. Everybody likes Ike. Ike for president. Ike for president. Ike for president. Ike for president. Kennedy. Like, God.
All just Raising McCain.
Oh, just Raising McCain.
Do you have any fucking clue what they're talking about right now?
Okay, hold on. Oh, damn. I was gonna pull it up, but that is definitely copyright.
I'm glad I'm not the
Without
only
a
one.
doubt.
There's one for Obama too. It's like, I love Obama or something. Do you remember that?
Yes, vaguely. I don't remember how it goes at all. I just know it exists.
It's like a girl with a flip phone, and she's like,
yeah.
I love Obama. Like, so, it's like really cringy, but it's
here's the thing. I don't think that was official in any way, shape, or form.
Play it.
No.
Well, turn the volume off. Hey, wait, John. Who's gonna read this? I can't even read.
Who's gonna read this?
Yeah, who the fuck is gonna read this podcast?
Yeah,
tell me who.
Who, John? Tell
On
me
the
right now.
off chance that it goes somewhere, let's not. Jesus Christ.
Oh, damn. You know, I fat fingered it
Let
really
me
quick.
see.
Let
me see.
Yeah.
To get back to your earlier question of favorite stereotypes, to vamp while you fuck with that, my favorite stereotype might honestly have to be the stereotype about black people and food. Because I am the least stereotypical African American human being on the face of this earth, except when it comes to food. And it's a little upsetting at times, but at the same time, like...
Wait, how?
What do you mean?
In what way? Elaborate.
Elaborate upon what part?
I guess, honestly, my small pea brain was not able to go through the wonderful verbose gymnastics that you just had. So.
Very, I don't know, whitewashed is a term for it, but I'm not. Yeah. I don't fit very many of most of the African American stereotypes at least for this culture in this country. Like, I am the furthest fucking thing from athletic. I can't fucking shoot hoops to save my fucking life. Or run. I don't have a vertical more than 2 inches off the ground. Like, that kind of shit.
Well, I mean, you do enjoy hip hop and R&B, and you do like jazz. So I mean, I feel like all of those things are, for the culture. As one might say.
I don't disagree. But as Marcos and Elijah would attest to, there's a very non-stereotypical aspect to my taste, particularly with hip-hop and rap.
Yes, with our Lord and Savior, rap god, Marshall Mathers. Why did I address Eminem like that? Jesus Christ, what is wrong with me? Anyway.
This podcast was not sponsored by our Lord and Savior, rap god Eminem. But, so in those aspects, in those regards, I am very much so the opposite, the antithesis of those stereotypes. You know what I mean?
Right.
But when it comes to food, I'm gonna level with you. I fucking love all of the stereotypical shit that African Americans are supposed to.
There is now a soul food restaurant in Muncie, and I want to go.
Where?
I don't know.
Where? What's it called?
Yeah, they just opened like this weekend.
Oh, so we're going.
Are they 24 hours? Can you Google and tell me if they're 24 hours?
No, I'm sure it's respectable time. Hey, what is that in your hand right now, Marcos?
Oh yeah. Well, I have a screenshot of it on my phone.
Okay.
What are we doing?
Are you? You have Raising McCain right there. Don't.
Can we? Just,
I love it so much.
We'll watch it after the podcast, so we can post it on social.
Lord, we're gonna put what is this going on?
This is going on anywhere really that you can find podcasts. It'll be on YouTube.
Bandcamp.
Okay, well, if you're on YouTube, there's going to be a link in the description for Raising McCain. I'm going to remind John to put it in.
Can I edit this one?
Actually,
can you edit this one?
Yeah.
I'm still waiting on you to give me the video for the last one.
I'm asking you a question, John.
I'm giving you an answer. I'm responding to your question with a question.
You'll get the last one when I get this one. Damn! I keep forgetting to put it in the box.
No, you're completely fine. I just finished editing the first one earlier
Lonely?
today, so or the
In a
audio
long,
portion
cold,
of it
lonely
anyway.
winter? What are the words?
Coldest winter.
Yeah.
Goodbye, my friend.
Damn.
Nice.
Fantastic.
Noon to 6 p.m. So we have to go sometime soon.
So, in other words, after this week, once finals are over,
What?
Finals are not this week.
okay, finals are this week for me.
Oh.
That's
Wait,
why
really?
I look horrible.
So
I
your
just
semester is
freaked
like
the
over.
fuck out.
After the 26th, yeah.
Yeah, right?
think.
Like,
I think. No, that's not their date.
you can jump in whenever, commit to the bit. If you got some shit to say it, girl. We're waiting.
No, the 26th is Thanksgiving Day. Wow. No, the 23rd is the last possible day, but I don't have one on the 23rd. We don't allow for finals to be on the 22nd because it's a Sunday and I go to a private Catholic university. And so, yeah, my last final is on the 21st.
Oh,
I'm
cool.
totally done. Yeah. Notre Dame wanted to be done before Thanksgiving so that they could combine our Thanksgiving and Christmas breaks. And we have a winter term that's like early January, so I don't go back to school until I think February 3rd.
Oh.
You're about to have like 2 months off of school.
Yeah.
That's fucking wild. I'm kind of jealous, honestly.
Alright.
Yeah, and then it's
Oh.
absolute. There is one day of break somewhere that they've randomly placed in the middle of spring, and that is the only break that we get for
Right.
For
spring
the
semester.
semester.
We get one day, and I think it's like a Monday. April 3rd is where my brain is going. That's probably not right.
That's wild.
Huh.
I
Anyway,
kinda-
yes, we should go to the soul food restaurant. It sounds
Definitely.
really
Yes.
good.
And
Yes.
that remind me your discussion of classes and stuff because the American healthcare system is not the only bureaucracy that I've had to deal with of late that's decided to grab me by the ankles,
I
bend
thought
me
you
over the
said
table.
taint.
No,
Tail,
decided
taint,
to grab me
ankles?
by the
Oh,
ankles,
applicable.
bend me over the table, and fuck me in the ass.
They-
My Ball
Why
State
did
is
they
done
grab
that.
you by the ankles?
We're not going to get into the visual. On
I
that one.
actually
I'm
think
not-
it makes
We're
more
not
sense
gonna
for
get
them
into
to
the
grab him
visual.
by
I
the taint.
regret saying
Yeah.
things sometimes.
Yeah, or the tail.
Anyway, so
That's definitely clipped.
definitely it didn't actually. I don't think it did. That would be
Whoa.
very fucking
That's
cool.
crazy.
Wild.
Imagine.
Imagine.
All
Anyway,
the people-
Jesus
we're just
Christ.
gonna knock out all the Beatles songs.
I don't know what happened today, but
on
we're in a
the
very
run.
different mood than we were last week.
I
It's a
know.
lot less succinct than it was last
Yes.
week. But I was telling you that I was having issues getting into a couple of my classes, and we have a couple of friends that have been seriously struggling to get into a couple of their classes
Mhm.
because they're like, what the fuck am I supposed to take? I found out today from not my fucking counselor that I have a complete list of options for classes and credits that I can clear and go through for my remaining 2 semesters after this next semester that I don't have to fuck with cramming stuff in or adding an extra minor to go to school for the extra year that the 4th year that I'm wanting to. I didn't know that 497s were a thing or that 299Xs were a thing.
I mean, I don't know what those are either.
Oh, perfect.
Explain.
So, as a telecommunications student at Ball State, the last the end of the line, I guess, of any of the production majors are the video or audio seminars.
Right.
Which are the big production classes that you essentially spend the majority, if not a whole semester, working on a project for that
Right.
course. And you can retake them up to 3 times. You can get up to 9 credits each of those instances of a class for 3 credit hours. You can get 9 credit hours in a 487 or 433, which are the video and audio seminars respectively.
Okay.
Okay. So then.
But after that, you can't do that. So I, this semester, was planning and I'm back to now taking technically 3 seminars. I'm taking 2 video seminars and an audio seminar this coming semester. But I was freaking out because I was like, shit, I can't afford to go an extra semester or graduate a semester early because of the way that my financial aid works out.
Right.
So I was like, fuck, I have to find a way to work in 2 semesters worth of classes when I don't have anything else to do for my degree.
Mm-hmm.
And if I can only take seminars 3 times, and I'm taking 2 of them now, I have an entire year worth of classes that I can't fill. Apparently, after you fill all of your 9 credits for 487s, you can go to a professor and pitch an idea to do something. And if they go through with it, which I've been told most of them do, you can just have them apply it to a 497, which is essentially the exact same fucking thing. Which means you essentially have 6 goes of a production seminar class. And even if you wanted to use those instances, those slots, I guess, for an immersion or a CEI project, something that a professor recruits you for.
Sure.
And you still wanted to do some stuff on your own that way, you have 299Xs, which are another general credit that you can take as many fucking times as you want to. And I had no idea about any of that. And when I had asked my counselor about shit, I explained the situation. I was like, I can't graduate a semester early or a year early, and I can't go to school longer than 4 years. What am I supposed to do? She was like, damn, that's a good question. You can take video seminar 487 3 times. And I was like, thanks, I knew that. What else am I supposed to do? You can take the audio seminar 433 3 times. Thank you, I already knew that. How the fuck does that, you know what I mean? Like, there was no fucking help whatsoever.
Yeah, I'll say
none
this
whatsoever.
much.
And I had to talk to one of my professors who was like, bro, you have all of this shit that you can do.
To be fair,
all you have to do is
I
come
would
up
say
with
that the
something.
professors know better than the counselors.
The academic advisors here are next to worthless.
And I would like to go on record and say,
right, like 6-figure salaries.
My academic advisor is a lovely person who has, as far as I am aware, done everything that she's been able to come up with or think of immediately on her end to answer the question as she understood it to the best of her abilities. She's always been super cordial and super straightforward and super kind with me when talking to her and that kind of thing. But it was very helpful. Right. It was very frustrating to be told that here's this person and their entire job is to help you figure out shit like this and answer these kinds of questions. And that was a resource that didn't really fulfill its role in a way that I thought it was supposed to, and I had to go to a completely outside source to get those answers. It was very upsetting.
Yeah, to get information that you were told that it is their job to
Right,
have.
and my issue is not just like my circumstance. Like I was saying earlier, we have a couple of friends that are getting completely fucked with some of their scheduling because of the way that the stupid ass system that scheduling works for at Ball State, and they can't get into some of the classes that they need to take for requirements on their degrees. So like a couple of them are taking like really generic
blow off bullshit classes.
Exactly. That are kind of interesting but of no real long-term help to them.
They serve absolutely no purpose to them at all.
Right, when apparently they have all of these different options that they don't know about. And I'm like, what the fuck are we doing here? You know what I mean? Like that. Okay, I just wanted to get that off my chest because that was frustrating.
Was that cathartic for you?
It was very cathartic for me.
You look like you feel better.
Yeah,
I feel like lots
at
better.
least 20 pounds have been lifted off your shoulders, buddy, and I'm glad to see it.
I wish, because Christ, it was the build up about 3 weeks, maybe a month of trying to figure out what the fuck am I going to do with my last 2 semesters here. Specifically, how am I going to find production shit to do to add stuff for my portfolio, my reel and stuff, for someone to turn around in 2 seconds to go, oh yeah, dude, you've got all of these different options. And a lot of it is shit that you can custom tailor yourself.
Can I ask who you talked to?
I talked to my multimedia and web development professor, Chris Fluke. Excellent. Super great. I already started to work on a couple of ideas that I'm going to pitch to him over the next couple of semesters to do an independent study or an immersive with.
Cool.
Yeah. So it worked out great. It's frustrating that there are probably dozens of other students that are still struggling with I have no fucking idea what I'm supposed to do. Whether it be because I've only got a semester left, or I have to graduate a semester early, I have to go an extra semester, or my fucking classes don't have any other open seats left because there's one section with 2 seats in the fucking class that 95,000 people are trying to get into. Well, I don't have any other options when apparently they have a fucking ton of them, and it's very frustrating. But yeah, that was my little rant today. This is
Fantastic.
very fun. Our studio manager has disappeared somewhere.
Yo, she straight up dipped.
Wild.
Sharon,
Wow.
what are you
Now
doing?
we're
One
just
moment I
right
saw
now
her
in-
fiddling with the
we're
camera, and the
wild.
next moment she was gone.
Her
That is
camera
upsetting.
died.
That's so sad. Can we get 10,000 likes?
Underprepared.
Okay. Unprepared.
Unbelievable.
What do you mean unprepared? She brought a second
Unprepared,
battery. That's true.
That's true.
And
We
Marcos,
love you,
didn't
Cheyenne.
you
Much
get
love.
here like 5 minutes late?
Yes.
Yeah.
Susio boys. Yeah, I know.
God.
Anyway, back to stereotypes.
Oh God, right.
What your favorite stereotype is food?
Specifically like stereotypes for African American people.
Well,
In
I mean
food-based
stereotypes in
right?
general, like however you want to categorize that. Sure.
Ooh.
Okay, I think all of the Jewish stereotypes are funny. All of them. I think they're all really funny. Okay, let me be really clear. I should have said this beforehand as well. I'm also Jewish. I want to get that out there.
Like
I want
20
to
seconds of
get
the
that.
episode, but that was.
I was like, I want to get that out there before I make fun of Jewish people. Because I'm not gonna lie, the Semitic peoples were very defensive of each other. And so if some random dude comes up and he's just like, I love all the Jewish stereotypes. I love just how they have those big honking noses, those huge chins, and they all vaguely sound the same. And and there's always just goyim this, goyim that.
I just got flashbacks to the presentation on Halloween and
Oh my God.
We're not.
You know what?
We're
not
not.
gonna
No.
touch that with a 10-foot
We're
pole.
not. God Christ.
I
no.
thought I'll gloss over it. I thought it'd be really funny with me as a Jewish man to say the most anti-Semitic things I could possibly think of. And because of the atmosphere and the fact that I was intoxicated, apparently it seemed really real.
It came across as a little real. I'm gonna
It's a
level
little
with you.
convincing.
And I mean,
fair,
it's-
I disassociated. I don't know anything that you said. That's fine.
I barely remember anything that I said. But and I mean honestly, I've had all of that shit spatted at me before, and I'm like,
Spatted.
fantastic.
Very good word.
Sure.
Thank you.
Coin that or trademark that. Excuse me.
Yeah, look, if I'm gonna talk about someone using profanity, I'm just like, they just spat vulgar profanity at me, and I want to seem.
I would like to interrupt for a split second,
Yeah?
just to go on record and say that this motherfucker is one of the
Oh.
most articulate and
Oh.
well-spoken fucking.
Well, they certainly are.
Which camera? Should I
Very,
look at
like-
as I do this?
Ew.
Fuck
John,
you
what?
erudite motherfucker.
Wait, what?
Like God,
Never
there's
Never
some
mind.
we're anyway.
God.
Just I get you last episode, or maybe it was before the last episode started. We were talking about word choice and that kind of thing, and like I use some,
Perhaps.
I guess
Sorry.
abnormal or uncommonly used words or whatever.
Well,
but
I
like
think
this
you use
motherfucker.
words.
God.
Look,
Sometimes Jacob uses words I don't know. Like yesterday he did, and
What
I was
word
like,
did
I
I
don't,
say?
I don't even remember what the word was.
Do you
but it was
remember the
like,
context
I
of
don't
the
know what that
conversation?
word means.
Maybe we'll come back to you.
who knows?
I don't know.
Interesting.
Anyway, I had to ask him to define a word.
That's
and he was
funny
like,
as
oh, it means this. I'm like, oh, cool.
You used. I think you're talking about. It was you, Zoe, and I in your room,
No,
and
this was yesterday.
no, I don't recall.
We here on the
Anyway,
Uncultured podcast have the collective memory span of a goldfish.
Yeah.
Thank you for listening.
If it
Hey,
happened more
hey.
than 30 minutes ago,
Hey,
Are you gonna?
Didn't
are you-
happen.
I'm too.
Am I wrong?
hey, yeah, Marco's
I
actually
can
got that
remember
big
an
brain.
hour.
Damn, dude.
Maybe.
Holy shit!
That's what a flex. Hey,
I-
like 5 minutes. at
What
most.
happened an hour ago?
An hour ago, I was
The
sitting in my
podcast
bed
almost
waiting
started.
for you to finish getting ready. So we
Really?
can walk here. Yeah.
What was I doing?
You guys walked here? Wow.
I don't know. You were in the bathroom. Anyway.
Okay, cool.
So stereotypes.
Yes. I feel like there was one that you had in mind. hence
Well,
why
yeah.
I
What
brought
is your
this up.
favorite?
My, like, I really like that, like, Mexicans are seen as like hard workers. I just really like that. Like, I don't think it's a bad like stereotype. Like, my dad worked in construction,
Right, yeah.
and my Theos have worked in construction too. Like, I don't know. Like, I just think it's a good
I
like
just wanted to
character
sit
trait.
crisscross in the chair and I couldn't fit.
You think
Going, I'm
it's-
sorry.
I think it's like a good character trait, and I think it's interesting. But like, I don't know. Sometimes it gets seen as like a bad thing, but I don't really
Which
think it
I
is.
don't think it is.
Because like,
What I find it really interesting, and I hate to say it, but it's true for you, Marcos. Because I know every time that we are working at something professional, you have this like chip on your shoulder that you have to be the hardest working person in the room.
I'm gonna be
I mean,
real.
yeah,
like watching you work on our Gunsmoke project about what was that like a month ago was kind of annoying. It
That's
only
fair.
in the points where I was like, that sounds fucking awesome, and you were like, I gotta go back
Ugh.
2 frames and fucking EQ this just a little bit, and I went, Marcos, it's fine. It sounds
It's
great,
fine.
and you were like, I'll kill
Well,
you.
I think that goes
I don't really
beyond the
remember that,
extent
but
of
sure.
necessarily
You-
hard working. But
You might just suffer from like such a workaholic tendency that you end up blacking out.
I am
from how-
very much so not.
Yeah, and I think-
I'm a lazy motherfucker.
well, I think part of it is when and I'm guilty. We're all guilty of this. Now that I think about it. Whenever there's something that Marcos is passionate about, he becomes an obsessive perfectionist about it. It has to be. It has to be perfect. It has to be. Anything less would be a disappointment, and it would linger in his mind. And maybe I'm self-projecting a little bit, but based off of your reaction, I'm self-projecting a little bit. But
Maybe
to
a
some
little
extent,
bit.
it's true.
I mean, yeah, to some
has
extent
to-
that is true, but I don't know.
It
if I'm,
has to
like-
be of a certain pedigree. Anything
Yeah.
less than like if you have the like inkling that you gave any less than your best, it's gonna bother you.
Yeah, or I'll just quit.
Yeah,
Or, like, if I make a beat and I'm like, yeah, this sounds like shit, I'm just gonna.
it's like it's not good enough. It's not necessarily. It started off with a bad foundation. I just gotta
I
scrap
started
it.
one and then it just took off.
No, I was just gonna say, because I brought it up at the beginning of last podcast, that we might have an intro that I recorded by playing. We definitely fucking won't. First of all,
I don't know what happened to the one that you were making last night.
It kind of took. I liked where it started and then I hated it and then I changed it.
Well, yeah, because I remember you started and it sounded fantastic, and then you made it a little too busy, and then you dialed it back, and I thought it sounded fine, and then I fell asleep.
Yeah.
very cool.
Not that
Well,
I-
see,
not that it was
I
boring
saw
and I
that you
fell
fell
asleep.
asleep, so I was like, oh, I'll put headphones in.
Gotcha.
You just go, I don't know, disturb.
Oh, you
That's
put
it.
headphones in before I fell asleep.
Oh,
I was really
whatever.
sad when you put it. Actually, no, I got the order of this one. See, this is why I have a memory of a goldfish, ladies and gentlemen. Can't remember what happened. No, I remember you put headphones in. I was just like, oh, I can't hear it anymore, and then I fell asleep.
Oh,
Very cool.
So I was staying awake, and I was ever so slowly falling asleep listening to it. And it was really nice. It was really calming and peaceful, and because it was kind of like a little up tempo, but at the same time it was nice and smooth. And,
yeah.
But it had a good crisp air to it, and it was
Anyway,
yeah.
it started as the intro for the podcast, but it was like, oh, this is a little like too.
Gotcha.
Like, it drug a little bit.
Yeah.
Like I don't know if I could.
We'll figure it
listen to
out.
for every episode of the podcast.
That
Um,
actually, go ahead. Sorry, go ahead.
No, but what you were saying about like perfectionism, I guess, is like, I don't know. I hold myself to a certain standard, and I think that is largely imparted because my family and my culture is like, hey,
Mhm.
fucking like, I don't know. I have a good work ethic.
Yeah.
I don't.
And I think a lot of it goes to the immigrant mentality. And I
very much
vehemently
so.
believe in
Yeah.
the immigrant mentality.
Interesting.
Like, a lot was sacrificed for me to be here. And if I don't make something of myself, then I'm not only letting myself down, I'm letting down the sacrifices and the work that
That was
the people
like
that came
kind
before
of all
me.
in vain kind of thing.
Yeah. To some
To an
extent,
extent,
yeah.
Yeah.
Right. Okay. See, this is very interesting for me because I'm gonna be real. You said that, and I was like, "Ooh, that was maybe not so on the head." And then you were like,
No, it very
Yeah.
much so is.
"That's interesting to me. I don't have that sort of a background or history in my family, that kind of thing, or at least not one that I'm aware of."
Mm-hmm. Well, I mean,
And I'm
the
fairly
transatlantic slave trade kind of
well,
does that.
right, but like even in that regard, I'm
Right.
very disconnected with a lot of that heritage and culture in parts of my family.
Yeah, no, I mean that makes sense.
I know that the white side of my family were apparently horse thieves.
That's
that was
cool.
fun,
That's-
and I
that's-
think I
actually,
just
That's
kinda-
hard as fuck.
Yeah, that's
kind
kind
of
of that's kinda
That's hard
wild.
as fuck.
I'm related to 3 U.S. presidents. I think I don't remember what fucking
Everyone's
ones
related to 3 U.S. presidents.
right.
Warren G.
Uh,
The
Harding.
Kennedys were Susio boys.
Yes.
That's fair. They're the Genghis Khan of U.S.
God.
presidents. It's
Jackie and Bobby just not Jackie. God, John and Bobby.
I was like, what did Jackie do?
Well, Jackie was kind of so John, his head does the little hereditary thing that does. And then she, and I'm going to get this horribly wrong, she almost remarried. No, she did remarry. She did remarry.
Because her last name was Onassis for a while.
Right. And then I believe he passed. And then she started getting cozy with another guy, and they never actually ended up marrying. But like Jackie, like even after John, like, oh, grieving widow, like no, she kind of. I don't want to say she didn't grieve, because she did grieve. She and like it did greatly impact her in her life. I mean, there's accounts of her wearing like the bubblegum dress that she was wearing at the time, and so. Like, obviously, she's sitting passenger side, and she gets a bunch of stuff all over her from the event. And
wow.
They were about to, I think it was the next day, she was still, like, everything was just snap, one moment after the next, because her life is utter chaos. And she was going either to some sort of press event. I don't know if she was speaking. I don't remember if it was just for photographs, but at the very least, she was going to be photographed. And they were like, Jackie, you should change it, like, and show, like, you know, that, like, it's okay, you're calm, you're composed, we as a nation need to build and move on. And Jackie was like, no, because, and I don't know if it was to the extent that she knew she hadn't been photographed, but I knew to some extent, not to some extent, but I knew at the very least, she wanted to see what had been done, the lasting impact it was going to have on her and us as a nation.
Yeah.
So she went out to whatever the event was, and just still in the same like little. It was somewhere between a dress and like a sweatery. It was like a fluffier kind of dress, and she still had the hat, and she was still just caked in blood. And it was I don't know. So, in other words, I'm not going to say that Jack's death didn't have an impact on her. But, I mean,
she
moved on. She moved on. Well, I'll just put it that way. She moved on. She wasn't like one of the individuals where their partner passes and they never remarry and they never love again. And it's not that they're, I don't want to like make it seem like they're sad the rest of their life.
Right.
But they can't.
It won't ever be the same.
Right.
Their mind, their heart, they just can't quite get to the point where it feels right to move on.
Yeah.
She definitely was a Susio boy after.
It
happens. And there's nothing wrong with being a Susio boy before or after the marriage, and even if with two agreeing partners during the marriage. I mean, who knows? But
I don't know about that one.
all right.
Is it bad to
This episode on white people.
Thank you, Jacob.
To
once again prove the goldfish analogy that we were going with earlier. I have no fucking idea how we got talking about the Kennedys.
Immigrant mentality.
Oh, there's something I wanted to bring up really important with immigrant mentality. Yeah. I don't have a strong relationship with my father or any men in my life. I don't really have any strong male figures, but that's a conversation for another day. But there's every once in a while there are moments where I was like, oh, like I'm not saying my father didn't try to be a dad. He did try. The effort was definitely there.
Sure.
So every so often, I would get these like moments later on in my life. I'm like, man was spitting mad game, and I don't even think he realized it. But yeah. I don't remember what I did. But I angered my father, and he sat me down and I see. My memory is kind of foggy about it because I've got the goldfish brain. But he sat me down and he said, Jacob, with nothing but the clothes on our backs, we came and drove here through a storm. And those who came before us died so that we could have a better life. And we are going to find it here.
Yeah.
Never, ever forget the sacrifices I and everyone who came before you made. And
that's powerful shit.
That
it is. Yeah.
And he like got up, he basically threw the chair to push it back in, and he stormed out of the room. I don't remember what I said, I don't remember what I did, I don't remember what happened before, I don't remember very much during or after that.
I can tell you exactly what conversation it was that led up to that moment.
Okay.
You had just gotten home. How old were you about this time?
I was, I think this was the 5th grade because we were in
Okay.
America.
So it was about the 5th grade. So that would make you like, what, like 11, 12-ish, I think?
Maybe like 10.
10? Okay, we'll
Yeah.
say 10. Jacob had a long day at school, long week at school. Parent-teacher conference has been the week before. They went okay. You know what I mean? Not poorly, but okay.
All right,
Jacob
John,
got
I'm gonna
back from
flex.
school this day. Shut up. I know you're fucking...
He's really.
I never
Eat
had
my
an
ass about
okay parent-teacher conference. Eat my ass, John.
Had just come back from parent-teacher conferences the week before. I was having a long week, that kind of thing. Jacob got back, and the first thing through the door, he goes, his dad had done all this hard work, cleaning the house, just wanted it to be noticed, a little appreciated or whatever, was about to start dinner, and Jacob goes, can we get McDonald's? And that was it.
No, I've never asked my father for food ever in my life.
That was dark as fuck.
I know. I've never asked him to
Does it,
buy
though?
me anything in my life.
I mean,
I know better than that. Holy shit.
Jesus Christ.
anyway, I don't know, like
But-
like I don't know how else to describe it. It's such a driving force. for
You
sometimes.
have to make something like, and for me it is truly, and this is why I say, like, I have my citizenship test coming up, and like I'm absolutely thrilled to call myself an American because like it goes to the American dream, which is definitely dead, but it's the there are a lot of commandments and amendments and rules that people live their lives by, but there's definitely an unwritten commandment which says that we shall give our children better lives than we had. And I think I think I can say with confidence, a terrible of a person and a terrible of a life that my father led, becoming anything less than something, I think I will not only have failed myself, but I'll have failed him.
Yeah. But
I mean, there are a lot.
Disservice to the,
Right. It's
to like your
disservice to the your family and the people that came
Your
before you and
ancestors
everything.
and that,
Like, it's the sense constantly living in with the idea that everything that and everyone in the history of everything has led up to me having the honor and privilege of being alive in this very moment. I cannot waste that. I cannot squander that. I cannot let that go. Because if I do for even a second, I think of just how much I am disrespecting the people that came before me.
And even as like a second, I don't mean to cut you off, but like even as a second generation, like I was born here, and like I don't in my home I don't speak Spanish often,
right?
But like at the same time, I understand what it took for me to be in the position that I am.
Right.
And it took a lot of like
sacrifice.
My abuelito worked on railroads for his whole life. My dad's a roofer. He was a roofer. One of my tios worked on like electricity stuff. Like it's all like very like hands-on manual, like shit that sucks.
Yeah.
Roofing fucking blows.
Yeah.
I hate it. I've done it. It's horrible. My dad did that shit for 36 years. Jesus. I don't know how the man is alive. I just like, I don't know, like everything is built up in an effort that someone along the line will be like, I don't want to say that the American dream is dead because I genuinely don't know that it is. Sometimes it definitely feels like it sometimes.
It definitely feels like it.
But like it's like I don't know. It's like
less common.
No, it's not even the American dream anymore. It's like these steps were put into place so that you could look on the balcony.
Gotcha.
You know.
Okay. I see what you
something like that. It's like we laid this foundation so that this stair could go here and that this stair could go here, and eventually it would lead to this really nice balcony with an ocean view.
Right.
And someone's gonna be able to do that.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
So.
But you have to keep laying the steps and shit and not fuck them up on your way, kind of shit.
Right.
Right. Okay. Because with a lot of times, and I'm putting this all in immigrant families. True American families. Well, okay, that was excuse me. American born and bred families. I don't want to say true Americans as opposed to like as to put the antithesis that there is potentially false Americans. That's
Sure.
I apologize.
No,
That's
you-
not what I was trying to say.
Yeah.
Are
But
there multiple choices?
American born and bred, like
Are there
multi-generational. They've been here for. I'm
Shut
sorry. John. What?
You said true or false Americans. I was like, are there multiple choice Americans? Are there short
Shut up.
answers?
There's true or false. Is there gonna be multiple choice
Are
on
there
the test?
Cheyenne? Are there gonna be essay Americans on the test?
Are there multiple choice?
I don't
There are
know why
multiple
this
choice
turned into a
Americans.
test metaphor.
Now that I think about it, there
Anyway.
are multiple choice Americans. You can have dual
No,
citizenship.
freaking.
Yeah, you can.
Oh, that's true.
Yeah, there are multiple choice
Anyway.
Americans. Anyway,
That's where we're at now.
I think there's also a strong set like I think your family unit becomes I don't want to say it's more important. Well, okay, while it is important to every American, their family unit, I think the structure and the sense of we are all here together in this time and space is a lot more impactful for people who have recently had to move against all odds and across this great earth, and to realize like we left people behind. I remember. Oh God.
Yeah, because see, this is where the disconnect happens for me. You know what I mean? Like, I can absolutely understand how all of that is a fucking driving motivator.
Right.
To, I don't mean the phrase so hardly, but to get your shit together and to
Right. Yeah.
to not,
I mean that.
you know what I mean?
That's not really a harsh phrasing.
No.
That's what my
Like-
brain says to me.
It's
like
honest.
I can understand that that's the result of a result of that, but I can't imagine that to me is more of a. I don't want to sound. I want to go on record. I don't want to sound disrespectful in saying so, but it sounds almost burdening to me. You know what I mean?
To an extent, it is.
Because God,
Yeah.
that what I can't get out of my head with
There's
that
a
is
duality
holy
of it.
shit, the weight and the anxiety that has to come with that.
Oh,
know what I
absolutely.
mean? The like, because I stress about that enough with just thinking about all the sacrifices that my mom made just
Yeah.
in
Yeah,
her life for
sure.
me to be where I'm at,
Right.
and I'm like, I think about that shit daily, where I'm like, God,
Yeah. Well, so
I gotta not be wasting my time or fucking around with this kind of thing. Like, whenever I talk to her, particularly about school or finances or grades or that kind of thing, she's like, "You've got this shot, man. Like, you
Yeah.
can't be fucking around with this. Like, if
Yeah.
you fuck around and you lose your financial aid or you fucking fail out of school or whatever, like that's it. And that's on you. Like, you're
so
we've had these opportunities and we've worked for this as a family and that kind of thing for you to have these opportunities, but like it's all you for here or it's all on you from
and
here
I think
forward. You
I
know what mean?
think that sort of translates kind of well into like at least my own experience of an immigrant family. It's like my parents expect me to own my shit.
Right.
I pay for my own school. I have to pay back the
Yeah.
loans for my own school.
Right.
Mhm.
So, you know, if I'm pissing away my money, I'm
Then
pissing
it's-
away my money.
Right. It's
Right.
not we're not going to be upset with you for doing that because you're the one that has to
Right.
deal with the consequences for
Yeah.
that. Right.
So, in that regard, it is like kind of like because they want me to be like they want to see me succeed.
Right.
Mhm.
I want to see myself succeed.
Right.
But in that regard, it can be a little bit like daunting.
Of course.
Just because you're like, oh, what the fuck, you know, like I remember being in like grade school and be like, I wonder what my parents are gonna like pay for my like just a dumbass kid and be like,
Right.
well, my parents pay for college. I'm like, oh, that's not fucking happening. But like, I don't know, like it's not that they like couldn't. I mean, they can't, but like.
If they had the opportunity.
It's part of
Right.
if they had the opportunity
Right.
they could, but at the same time I don't think that they would because that is my own like
Right.
venture. That's
Mhm.
that's my own experience.
Right,
my
and
own
there's the argument of the appreciation there, you know what I
Yes,
mean? Like for
yes,
the same
right,
reason
yeah.
that like there are some parents my mom's one of those that like again, financial capability currently aside that like your first car is going to be one that you pay for, and you're going to pay for the gas, you're going to pay for the maintenance, you're going to pay for the insurance, that kind of thing, because you're going to appreciate that car a hell of a lot more than if I just handed you the keys for something on your 18th birthday.
Yeah, exactly. And I think that is something, especially that like minority parents and immigrant parents and like minority families and immigrant families instill really well, is that the grind really sucks, but at a certain point it's gonna pay off.
Right.
And like, I don't know, like my family has a house.
Mm-hmm.
My dad busted his ass off for that house.
Yeah.
The payout might look like that. Like, we have a house that we built.
Yeah.
Or that we partially built.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. Like, to a certain extent, it can seem daunting and, like, really give you a lot of anxiety and stress. But I think, and I kind of look at every day this way, is, like, you choose what to make of the situation that you're in.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I could wake up every day and be, like, really shitty that, like, like, I could just be fucking pissed off that my car broke down.
Right.
You know? I'm like, whatever. I don't live that far away. I can walk. Luckily, I have friends that like me enough to sometimes give me rides.
Right.
You know, like, it could be worse.
Yeah.
It's a very fair point.
It definitely could be worse. Bro, like, I'm on TikTok. Like, I'm not on TikTok, but I'm on TikTok and I see, like, there's people, like, trying to get in.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And first of all, those are my favorite. I hope you all make it.
Definitely. But as someone who's fucking starting a podcast, working on fucking YouTube,
this is the American dream at work right now.
Right,
You're
like,
starting a podcast. You are making something with your hands that's something that you are proud of.
YouTubing and shit, man. Like starting, like you were saying with like TikTok, or like God, the amount of times that I've seen on, because for whatever reason the algorithm likes to show you new channels if the channel you're working on is starting to upload shit and doesn't have a lot of followers.
Sure.
Apparently, like on YouTube or on Twitch, like I've seen, particularly being a TCOM major and wanting to go into a digital field as opposed to like a traditional film and media kind of thing, like the amount of people that fucking work, dude, and it's the work that they the work that they put in for 3 subs, for 5 followers, for 10 likes, 10 views is 18 times the work that some of the biggest names on those platforms that I can think of put in for a couple of thousand of any of those things.
And I think to a certain extent is like not just like digital media, but like, I mean, any career.
Right.
Is to a certain extent is not so much competitive as it is like iron sharpening iron.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Because like you want to be like to that pedigree, but like and probably potentially better, but like I think that gives you more of a drive to like want to like hone your craft and like do whatever you're doing.
Right.
You know what I mean? I don't know. Like for me, like when I see like people like Elijah, who we had on last episode.
Yeah.
Like watching Elijah work, I'm like, oh, I fucking hate you.
That man's.
It's like it's just so like captivating and like really like. It's hard to like articulate.
It
how,
really
like,
is. I know you're. God, fuck.
It's kind of I've known Elijah for a really long time. I've known Elijah for like a decade now. That's kind of crazy to think about, but watching him, and he's always had it. Oh, whenever he works on anything, I always know that, am I going to cry because how proud I am of him?
No, sometimes I think about it, dude.
Am I going
like,
to?
Damn.
Oh my God. I am. Wow.
Christ, Jacob.
Oh, I'm going to collect myself.
No, but like
I know greatness is happening.
Yeah.
Yeah, dude. Like, I fucking remember it couldn't have been a month ago when we were.
Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
You're fine. When we were working on something for a project for an organization on campus, and Herb was fucking sitting at the table with a fucking
dead
TV on his head or whatever, and Earl and I were just in there. He asked me, "Hey, do you got a second to help me out with this quick thing?" And I was like, "Sure." And I was just standing there with my phone, looking at the table with him. Sat there, I was just gonna click record on my phone and take the video of it. And Elijah walks past the room just on his way back to his room, having used the bathroom or something, and was like, "What are you guys doing?" And he stopped us, and we spent the next 2.5. It might have been, I think, 3.5 hours.
Seeing people
trying
like Elijah
to work this shit out,
and seeing how passionate they are about like what they're doing, it just makes me like want to be like.
It fucking puts
like,
a fire in you.
Yeah, it really does. It like, it makes you want to become better at what you do.
Yeah.
And what you love. Shout out to Elijah. He's a really cool guy.
God,
he makes cool shit.
He makes the cool shit. It's fucking wild.
Cheyenne makes cool shit too.
Cheyenne does make cool shit. That's a whole other thing though. God, I could get off on a fucking tangent about some of the shit.
Did you have a topic
for today?
Yeah.
Not one. I did have one for beforehand, but we didn't get to it. But that's actually kind of all right.
Okay.
It's definitely something we can talk about later on another episode because Christ.
Yeah.
This segment that we got into at the end was very.
I really enjoyed that.
I really enjoyed that.
I let me see if I can try to wrap this up a little bit. There's to go back. Let me see if I can pull in just about everything that I possibly can that we've talked about.
Canadians.
So, and again, it goes back to my father, who like I've said it a lot, like. I don't think he explicitly said it to me, but I feel like he did. He was like, I should be an example of everything that a man should not be. He taught me a lot. He was not, I'm not gonna lie, like as much as I try to hype him up, he was kind of like, I don't know. Anyway, I'm not gonna get into it too much, but I just don't have a great relationship with him. And I was just like, I'm gonna be everything that man is not. But there's a tradition, and he talks about it every once in a while. He was talking about it with one of his friends that he made when we came over here.
Mm-hmm.
Funny enough, it is my my girlfriend's dad. First friend I made was my girlfriend now at the time, and her dad is his parents are immigrants. And so my father was talking to him about like traditions in the family that like we're not sure how this got started or why this got started, but it's important. It is important. Like I have an incredible strength of sentiment and safety knowing that like I'm going to carry this on or I have carried this on, and like an obscene amount of pride. And there's a naming system in my family. So all of the oldest children are to be named Robert. Like my father is Robert the 7th and my brother is Robert the 8th.
Yeah.
And so there's a naming system, and he was showing his name is Michael, but everybody calls him Tim. He was showing Tim pictures of like Robert as like a baby.
Mm-hmm.
And Tim just kind of looked at it and like obviously I have seen my father cry literally once, and it was right then, and Tim got emotional too, and he looked at the picture and he handed it back to my father and he said, Bob, I really want you to look at that.
Yeah.
Everything you've ever done is right there.
Yeah.
And my father just started to describe like his father and his father's father. And Tim stopped him and he said, take a good long look at the photo you've got and the boys who are in the next room.
Mm-hmm.
Your family has a lot more to be proud of than its past.
Yeah. I kind of feel a similar sentiment. Like my grandfather and my own father are both like, my grandfather was, and my dad is very much so like family oriented.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I don't know, know, like we might get like shitty with each other, but like at
Right.
the end of the day, like we're still a family and we still love each other, and like that has always like, I talk about how much love I have in my heart a lot.
Mhm.
Is like it's because of my family structure is just set up in a way that like I have been shown so much love and like sometimes it's tough love.
Yeah.
But I've been shown so much love and like how to love and what it is like to be loved so much in my life, even in my like young life. Like I remember one time my abuelito, I ran outside because it was raining and he just like watched me for a little bit and then he told me to come inside because I would get a cold.
Right.
Yeah, and I'm like that was cute, you know. Like he like let me be a kid for like a minute, but like
Right.
he, at the same time, he did what he did just because he cared about me.
Right.
So
It's the little things like that, man.
yeah, and like I remember, I ran over a tree when I was mowing one time, and my dad whooped my ass. But like,
How do you run over a tree?
listen, man, I don't know.
How big was this tree?
It was a sapling.
Okay.
Yeah, it was a sapling.
Okay.
I should have paraphrased, or
Yeah.
like I should have prefaced that.
I was like, it's
It was
tree.
like it was probably like no
but,
more than
Okay.
like a foot taller than this mic stand.
Okay.
but at the same time, like A, it's a tree, and B, that fucked up the mower.
Yeah, he wasn't happy. But I like the next day he was like, "Hey, it's okay, buddy." Like he like you know he like my family has always made me feel like so secure in myself that I just want to like give that to other people, and sometimes I'm sure it's like overbearing to a certain extent.
Oh yeah.
But
I
like I
mean-
just want to take care of people, you know? 'Cause
Right.
I felt that so much in my own past that I just like have to like.
Oh,
give it.
Yeah. I have never seen that. I have a couple of friends that have similar experiences like that, but I've never seen that come out of someone. Like I've seen it come out of you when you cook and we're over at your place and we're gonna eat. What?
Did I cry? Because I felt like I
You
almost did.
came pretty close, I
Yeah.
think, when we were all over.
Yeah.
And listening to you talk and like talk to people and talk through people like to just sit down and just enjoy the company and the meal and shit. Like there's I don't know how to describe it. There's a difference in people coming to the table to eat and the person that prepped the table or prepped the food being like, it's time to eat, so sit down and stop messing around and start eating or whatever.
Right. Mm-hmm.
And there's a difference between that and someone urging you passionately to sit down because the seating and the starting of that meal means the coming together of that group.
So I think of it sometimes as the difference between being nourished and being nourished. Because like, you might just be like, okay, I'm eating food because I'm hungry.
Right.
But like, as cliche and kind of cheesy as it sounds, like there's a difference between just eating because you are hungry,
Right.
and there's a difference, like eating with like people that you love and just like spending time with those people. You know, because like one nourishes your body, but one nourishes like your spirit and your soul.
Right.
And like I don't know, just
right. Like
that's
to
how I
put that
think about
into
it
analogy
sometimes.
with food. Like there's a difference between the sustenance in and of itself and the other benefit of that, the experience that you get from that. Like if I was hungry and just needed to provide myself with basic sustenance, I could go cram a half a tablespoon of peanut butter and a half a liter of water down my gullet, and that'd be it.
Right.
But to sit and make like a steak or a ornate or decadent meal for a group of people that I care that passionately about, to put that much time and work and effort, and motherfucker, you put like 3 or 4 hours into cooking that evening.
It was like 2.
It was like 3.
I mean, it wasn't just me.
Still, fuck, but like to put that much effort into something and to be able to in the taste and in the company and in the conversation in that moment reap the rewards of that is an entirely different thing.
Yeah, and I think that goes back a lot to the immigrant mentality. It's like I mean, I enjoy cooking a lot, but it does kind of blow because like I'm hungry,
Right.
you know. But like the payoff is kind of worth it.
I agree.
So
It's
yeah.
a good time, man. Holy shit. We've been at it for
Yeah.
a second. We started a little later than we did last time, too. We've been at it for a second. I'm
Yeah.
sure Cheyenne's like, bro, food and homework. If you like that.
Oh,
Honestly,
fantastic.
I am too. I
I've
wasn't
had to pee
expecting.
for the last hour.
Oh, that's right. You had to pee before we got here. Did you end up peeing?
Why didn't
oh,
you
yeah,
like
but
go-
we did. We
I-
took a
I-
break
we-
together.
We've been
I
drinking a
forgot.
lot of water.
Fun, you guys have. I
Okay.
messaged the group chat and was
Yeah.
like, "Fun, we should start
John's like,
doing
we
a water.
need to drink more water.
We
and
should
like,
do a
yeah.
thing." And then
motherfucker, let's go.
I literally
Yeah.
haven't drank water since the day that I fucking recommended
What?
we do that. I'm dead serious.
How?
Sean, you got plant nanny. Your plants are
My
dying.
plan is done. Anyway.
But how do you not?
We
hold
will.
on, hold on, hold
we
on,
will-
hold on, hold on, hold on. Before we kill this podcast, what the fuck do you drink?
You don't. He doesn't.
I don't know.
How is your skin so good?
I don't
Well, part of that is he's just a black man.
Well, that's true.
get you.
As the kids on the street say these days, black don't crack.
You're
And
right.
So,
Thank you for tuning into this episode of Uncultured. We graciously wow.
Wow.
We struck out on the Uncultured podcast. We greatly
Yeah.
appreciate your listening and your viewing and your support. And as always, I've been your host, John Glowden.
I'm your co-host, Marcos Carranza, Sucio Boys in the Cut. If you made it this far, I greatly appreciate you and your time.
Absolutely, and our lovely guest.
I'm our guest, our humble guest. I'm saying our like it's my show. I'm so sorry.
Well, I mean, it's our show, and we're
I-
humbled to have you on.
Oh, well,
Absolutely.
thank you. I've been the humble guest for this evening. I'm Jacob Herring.
Our lovely guest, Abby Perry. And we will see you.
Oh, sorry. I'm Abby Perry, and here at BSU tonight.
we will see you guys next time.
Yeah.
Thanks and have a great night.